This is Kona. He's crazy. I got a package today. Feel like I'm gonna just open everything. It is another car part, and I've been wanting something from this company since I saw their booth at Wicked Big Meat years ago. Raceseng. Look at this packaging. Oh snap. Wow, look at this. Raceseng. Enjoy the drive. That's fancy. And it's magnetic. This is heavy. I think it's like a pound. Wow. This is fancy. There's a shift knob. 1 to 6. Reverse on the top left. It's hefty. Hefty, hefty. It has a metal core. And the sleeve here is made out of Delrin, so when it's like hot in the summer or cold in the winter, it won't burn you or freeze your hand off. And I ordered another Delrin sleeve because I didn't know which shape I wanted. There was this one, or this little cone thing. So I guess I'll figure it out and see which one I like best. It's another day. We're in the GTI and I'm gonna attempt to remove the shift knob so I can get the shift boot out. The shift boot I have right now is actually the OEM leather shift boot, and it's actually cracking. Should be replaced. The car's a 2015, so I figure, you know, after 5 years, constant moving, shifting, that eventually the leather was gonna crack, and it is cracking now. So we're gonna take this off. I'm gonna sew together a new shift boot, and it's gonna be Alcantara. I'm gonna show you guys before I do anything, before I take out the shift knob, because when I take this off, I'm gonna put the Raceseng one in, so I actually have a shift knob. Stock MK7 shift knob. From this end up, so completely vertical, we're looking at 5.5, 6 inches in the neutral position. I'm gonna put it in 4th gear position so I can have more clearance when trying to pop off this trim. There's 2 clips in the back here. Supposedly you're supposed to be able to feel where the clips are, but I don't feel them, so I'm just gonna just pops right up, and there you go. I did this before and I noticed that my boot in here is actually ripped. I don't know how that is, but I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like. Y'all can tell me below, is this a problem? It's ripped. I did pop this off before and I noticed that it's ripped. I mean, I would just assume that it's there just to keep dust from getting in or whatever. This right here is like a clip that's been squeezed so it doesn't move, and it pretty much clamps it. That's what it is. It's a clamp that's holding the shift knob in. I can either cut this, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stick a pick or a screwdriver and try to pry it open so it gets loose. After that, I should be able to just take the shift knob and pull it right out. Stick the pliers in there, squeeze the pliers. So it's a little loose right now, but I think it needs to get more. Oh, look, so it's spinning. I think that's loose enough. Should just be able to take the shift knob, wiggle it around, and pull it up. Just a little wiggle left and right. Looks like it's loose. Is it loose enough to pull out? Oh, yeah. So I didn't actually have to cut this off like I've seen a few other videos. I just legit took my pliers, stuck it in there, and then just opened it up a little bit, loosened it up, and I was able to pull it out. I gotta recreate this boot. We're gonna work on removing the boot from this frame because I need to reuse this frame. In the back of the frame, you'll see that there are little clips. There's 2 on each side. So what I noticed is that if you start on one of the longer sides, it's easier to get these pushed in. And as soon as you get one, it makes the rest easier. And I'm using a little pick that I got from Harbor Freight to help me along. All right, that's 4, 5, 6. The sides are easy. As soon as you start with one, it'll help with the others. And there we go. We got the bezel removed, which I need to reuse, and the black inside clip I need to reuse. this black piece, this ring, is actually fused to the shift boot. So I would need to detach the shift boot from the black ring because I will need to be reusing this ring. So I'm gonna take my pick and I'm gonna work along these edges. You can see that it's kind of like pressed, melted. I don't know what they did, but I'm gonna work the pick along to separate it. Inserting the pick and just dragging it across to remove it. I'm just gonna work my way along the whole edge. And the last one, I should be able to just pull this off. There you go. This thing is flimsy, man. I heard that if you break this, you gotta buy like the whole assembly. I don't know if that's true or not, but I didn't want to break this. This is flimsy. I'm gonna deconstruct the shift boot. Let's get to making a template, cutting out fabric, and sewing up a new shift boot. I just wanted to show you guys the cracks on the shift boot leather up close. It's one of them. It looks like all four corners. This one's not as bad, but you see there's like three rips. There's two on this side. And actually this corner doesn't even seem to have one. I mean, there's some stress marks. So eventually, further down the line, these will become cracked. But I think this is the worst one right here. So I drew the template of the shift knob, the shift boot, drew the template of the shift boot. And then what I did is I took off an inch and a half. I took off an inch and a half of this and converted it into a shorter one. Because now we know that the shifter is shorter than the OEM, so it's not as far in and won't create as many wrinkles. I'm hoping that the inch and a half that I took off isn't too much. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut off this template. I made where the sew lines are. I made a 1/2 inch allowance for when I fold over the fabric. So I'm gonna cut this out and I'm gonna work on like a mock-up. I'm gonna use scrap fabric and mock that up and see if that works. So now that we have the template cut out, I'm gonna get some piece of scrap fabric and I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna cut 2 of them, sew it up together. I'm not gonna make it all pretty or nice or whatever, just sew it up so I can get a mock-up of how it is. Install it, see if I have enough room to shift, and if everything plays out and I don't need to do adjustments, which I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do some adjustments, but if for some reason everything lines up, everything works, measurements are perfect, I'm gonna actually take this template, take the Alcantara, and make the final product. And there we have it. 2 pieces of fabric cut to the template, ready to be sewn. Gonna have 1 stitch in the front, 1 stitch in the back, and test fit it, and hopefully it lines up and works. Okay, I am officially running out of sunlight. So, but I got the mock-up shift boot in there. It looks pretty good. It does look a little short though. I'm gonna make a quick run downstairs, go into the car, and see how it fits. I do need to make an adjustment on this. The bottom is about a 1/2 inch too long, so I'm just gonna have to short one side by 1/4 of an inch each. Here's a shift boot. I'm gonna unscrew the shift knob, fit it back in place, and see how I did. okay. It looks promising, but the hole on top is way too big. Not bad. So just 2 minor adjustments on the top and the bottom. So the bottom is needs to be taken in about a 1/4 inch, and the top needs to be taken in about 1 inch, and that's a lot. I'm happy with this. We're running out of sunlight. I'm gonna go back in and create the real thing with the adjusted measurements. I got this Alcantara fabric here that I'm gonna start cutting up with the adjusted template. I made some adjustments on the template. Hopefully they're good. I started second guessing myself because there's 2 sides of the shift boot, and I don't know. I just confused myself. And there we have it, guys. We have side 1 and side 2 of the Alcantara fabric. So now what I'm gonna do, change the thread on the sewing machine so it's the right colors, not the ones that we used for the mock-up. So I'm gonna do black stitching to join them together, and then a red stitching outline so it goes with how the original shift boot is and the rest of the theme of the GTI, because you know, red accents everywhere. So I finished with the shift boot and I already put it in. Black Alcantara with red stitching. I tried a few different ways to do the red stitching, but the thread I have is not that thick, so that's why it's kind of thin. Moment of truth. Alright, snaps in. Screw the knob on. And there we have it. Shift boot installed. Not as baggy as the original. Let's go through the gears. It's good. So, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. We got the shift boot and shifter in. Now, first impressions of the the Raceseng shift knob is that it's pretty heavy, and going into gears feels a lot smoother. Overall, I'm pretty happy about how this turned out, and I'm happy that the shift boot worked. And like I said, it's been a while since I did a shift boot, and this is my second time I've done one, and it came out pretty good. I'll show you guys the shift boot once more, but that wraps it up for this install.